So this is our after show where I just wanted to like dive a little deeper about, I'll start with you, Sarah, because you've been doing it a little bit longer. Why did you get involved with Colshan Land Trust?
Well, I was invited to a fundraiser pre-COVID from a good friend of mine that has been a long-term supporter.
Okay.
And so that was my first introduction to Land Trust model and what they did. And I'll be honest, even after the fundraiser was over, it wasn't completely clear on how things worked. It's like, well, that's confusing, but it seemed like it was a really good cause. And then it was actually during COVID. And my background is in corporate banking, as you know, Andy. I worked for a team down in Seattle, but I was when my family relocated here, I started to work remotely, and I took I started to kind of quietly retire with COVID.
Yeah,
and was stepping away from that career, and former colleague of mine, Nicole Walker, was president of the board for Colshan, and she just met with me and said, I have 3 children and was pretty involved with just what it takes to raise 3 children at the time. But she's like, you need an outlet for your mind, so you need to join this board. And
that's how they reel you in.
Yeah,
it's for your own good.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how it all started. And I just got really, I dug really, with my involvement with the LLC board, it required that I dig in very deeply into how the subsidies worked and how, what Colshan's mission and how they were executing on that mission and all of those things and who our partners were. It just required that I understand it at a much deeper level than I think you would normally get to as a board member, because I was the spokesperson for the partnership on the board.
Right. So you had to actually know what you were going to say.
Yes. Yes. And so we had our executive director resigned. We started the search for his replacement, and he gave us 6 months, but we had a hard time finding the right fit for all the reasons. It was also kind of like, we were searching for a unicorn, because we really were looking for somebody with nonprofit management experience and development experience. Yeah. And that's a very unique
don't all go
combination
together necessarily.
And we were acknowledging that we may not find that exact person, but we had hopes. And the first person we offered the position to decided that she was going to be taking a leave of absence from work for family reasons. So she did not come to join us. And then so we went back and did another search. And that is when Rose finally decided that she would apply for the job, because it was kind of all out there that this would be the perfect candidate, but she wasn't quite in the place where she was ready to commit to the idea yet. And so she came around and we found our unicorn.
You found the unicorn. What changed your mind? Why did you decide to apply there?
Yeah, a couple of things. So I had been working for Sustainable Connections for 12 years and had a really great family there and loved the work and the mission, and was felt like that organization was going through a lot of transitions as well, and so wanted to be there for that stability piece for the organization that has taken such good care of me and the community. I had been really Colshan adjacent for a long time, so I had, prior to working for Sustainable Connections, worked in residential development. So I was a project manager for about 8 years, working on co-housing projects and other types of residential development. But so my background is urban planning, but when I was in development, I really got into green building, and so kind of transitioned from more of an urban planner to a sustainable design and development consultant. And at that time, Colshan had started to do, they did their first development project, and So I worked with them on their LEED certifications and some of the sort of green building things that go along with that. Dean, the former executive director, he was actually at the Restore at the time. So we had worked on the Building Industry Association has a Built Green program. We had worked on that together. And then I moved to Sustainable Connections, where I was their Green Building and Smart Growth Program Manager when I started. And their Mathi Place development, Colshan's Mathi Place development in Fairhaven, is sort of it's a gold standard gem of great, compact, awesome development, right? So there's 14 homes on half an acre. I think it's half an acre. It's a really great project, and it features low impact development, all that stuff. So I was always leading tours at Colshan's site, and then just having been on different boards and things. So Colshan was always sort of in my purview, and saw it as such a critical part to sort of how nonprofit employees get stability. So I at Sustainable Connections, we had at least 6 different employees were Colshan Community Land Trust homeowners. That just being around and knowing what an impact that Colshan was making on our staff's life was really cool. So because I did have the nonprofit leadership and development experience, board members, their former executive director, everybody had been calling me and asking me to make the application and take the job. The other thing was that my dad is terminal right now. And so at Sustainable Connections, I knew that I could take a long leave of absence and that I would have the grace, of time, and knew that taking on Colshan Community Land Trust, I'd want to be really involved and engaged, and didn't want to take the job and then leave right away.
Right.
When my dad found out that I was not taking a job because he is sick, he got very upset.
As dads do, right?
Yeah. So once I sort of had the when my dad gave me a stern talking to about a professional career and advancing a mission and an organization that could really use my help, that's when I decided I would do it.
So it was your dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the tipping scale to say, hey,
oh, absolutely,
go do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That is cool that that's one of the, I think that's a great story too, because it shows that relationship with your dad of your care for him, but then as a dad, right? I see that, right? As a dad, you see something in your kids and you see what they're great at and how they can impact things, and then pushing them and helping them to go do that. That's really cool.